परमानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि. Let us look into the meaning of Om. This mantra begins with Om. The word Om is a word, a single syllable word. This single syllable word has multiple applications. If we look into the scripture, Om is equated to Brahman, reality. Om iti Brahma. Om iti Brahma, Om iti Dagam Sarvam, Om iti Tatanukritika Smava, Apyo Shravayetya Shravayandi, Om iti Samanikayandi, Ogum Shomiti Shastrani Shagum Sandi, Om ityathiryur pradigaram pradigranati, Om iti Brahmana Pravachannaha, Brahmopa Apnavaniti. Taittiriya Upanishad. What it says? Om iti Brahma. Om is equated to Brahman. Brahman is the reality. Immediately the scripture says, Om idagam sarvam. Whatever is here is nothing but Om. When that statement, whatever is here is nothing but Om, needs analysis. That statement needs analysis. There are various ways we can understand Om, because Om occurs in almost all Upanishads. In Bhagavad Gita also it occurs. In Patanjali Yoga Sutra, it is there. Ishvara pranidhanatva tasya vachakaha pranavaha, then tajjabaha tadartha bhavanam. Though pranava is Om, tajjabaha, pranavasya jabaha, pranavasya artha bhavanamiti. Now let us go for the phonetical explanation of Om. The word Om, the single syllable word Om, contains the reality which is enjoying an existential dimension, and word Om contains the reality, the order of reality of the whole universe. If you look at the Veda has got a paradigm to explain away this creation. When Veda is presenting creation, it is not meant for establishing the fact that there is a creation, it is meant for explaining away this creation. At the end of it, Veda is getting into Ajadavada. There is no creation. But the individual is seeing a creation. Veda is presenting creation as a method. Later, Veda could explain away this creation. Now, the whole creation is nothing but names, forms, and function. Nama Rupatmakam Jagat Asti Bhati Priyam Nama Rupam Iti Amsha Panchakam. So, the whole creation is nothing but names, forms, and function. Now, the word Om contains 3 syllables. A, U, and Ma. Akara, Ukara, and Makara. People living in different parts of the world, if they are all asked to open their mouth and make a sound, what would be that sound? Whichever language you speak, wherever you stay in this planet, whichever language you speak, if you are asked to open your mouth and make a sound, irrespective of our mother tongue, what would be the sound if you open your mouth and make a sound? It is invariably going to be A. So, akara is the sound which is the beginning of all sounds. That's why in the Bhagavad Gita it has been said, Aksharanam, Lord Krishna is saying, Aksharanam akarosmi. Lord Krishna is equating himself with the akshara, akara. Yajnanam jabayajnosmi ityadi. Therefore, akara is the inaugural sound, the opening sound. Now, when you open your sound and when you open your mouth and make a sound, then you are asked to close your sound. Close your mouth. When you close your mouth, what would be the sound? Means makara. So makara is the ending sound, the closing sound. So we have the beginning sound A and there is ending sound Ma, which again implies all the modulated forms of sounds can happen only between the beginning sound and the ending sound. All possible modulations. It can only happen between the beginning sound A and the ending sound Ma. Now we have to go for a representative sound. How we can go for a representative sound? When you make the sound A, check your position of the tongue. The tongue is in sleeping position. The tongue is in laying down position. You are not using your tongue. You are not engaging your tongue when you make the sound A. And when you make the sound Ma, you are not engaging your tongue. Your tongue is still in sleeping position. But when you make the sound Oo, you are rolling up your lips and there is a slight dent in your tongue. That means you are engaging your tongue. That's the least, Oo is the least modulated sound. Ooh. When you say oo, there is a slight dent in your tongue. You are engaging your tongue. Tongue is not in sleeping position. So oo is the least modulated sound which can stand as a representative sound between the beginning sound and the ending sound. Therefore, oo stands for all possible modulations which can happen between the beginning and ending sound. So we have three sounds: A, the opening sound; Ma, the ending sound; and the representative sound Oo, which stands for all possible modulations. That means you are accounting all sounds in this creation. By accounting all sounds in this creation, you are accounting all names in this creation. By accounting all names in this creation, you are accounting all forms in this creation. That means by three sounds, you are accounting all names and forms in this creation. Now, before the sound A, what precedes? Before you make the sound A, what precedes? Silence precedes. Sorry. That silence is amatra, no syllable. So the syllable A, what precedes? No syllable. That's called amatra. There is silence. Which precedes A, there is silence which follows A. This silence is uncreated. You can only create sounds. You cannot create silence. So that silence which precedes the sound A, the silence which follows the sound A, that silence is uncreated silence. That uncreated silence stands for the reality Brahman, which is in the form of consciousness or awareness. So that silence, uncreated silence, which implies your reality, consciousness, because your conscious presence is there. Before you create, see, Om, what precedes? Your presence precedes. Your conscious presence precedes. Om, what follows? Your conscious presence follows Om. Your presence doesn't begin. What begins? You are creating, you are choosing the sound Om. and you decide to create the sound Om, then what precedes the presence? What precedes is your presence, and the presence doesn't begin, and your presence doesn't end. So your presence doesn't have a beginning, nor does it have an end, but sound begins and sound ends. That means that presence is ever available to you. It is ever present, ever present presence. Your presence is ever present without a beginning nor an end. That presence is implied by uncreated silence, implied by amatra. Therefore, that conscious presence, which is the relative, reflective form of consciousness which is available to you, wherein you can create life, and that conscious presence is the reflective form of reality, because you cannot access your reality directly. Consciousness is avyavaharyam. But what format of consciousness which is available for our life? It is our conscious presence. Your presence here is a conscious presence. It doesn't have a beginning, nor does it have an end. That's the reason why that conscious presence in the form of consciousness is referred as Brahman, which is all-pervasive in nature. Which again shows you are accounting the reality which is in the existential dimension. So life has an existential dimension. You are accounting your reality. That existence in the form of all-pervasive consciousness is called Brahman. Therefore, scripture says, Om iti Brahma. Then again it says, Om idam sarvam Om iti. Whatever is here is nothing but Om. So whatever is here in this empirical order of reality, names and forms. Then we are accounting A, U, Ma, A plus, U plus, Magara. We are accounting all names and forms. So you are accounting all the empirical order of reality in which we are living our life, and the existence, the reality in the form of all-pervasive consciousness. So names and forms are just superimpositions on consciousness. That's the way Veda perceives it, and it has got a function and experiential reality, an order of reality. Names and forms enjoy an order of reality. It has got a function. Therefore, both aspects of this creation. One is the relative aspect of this creation is accounted, where life is being created, we live our life, and the existential dimension of the creation in the form of consciousness is also accounted, which is referred by the word Brahman. Therefore, Om is an all-inclusive word which accounts all names and forms in this creation, also the reality in the form of consciousness, which is availed by everyone in the form of conscious presence. Therefore, Om becomes a single syllable word. Om becomes a single syllable word which represents the total. Total means absolute and relative, total. So that's the reason why Om is the name of the Lord. Abhidhana. Abhidhana means Om is Abhidhana. Abhidhana means the name. And the name, therefore, there is Abhideya. What is represented by that name? What implies? The name implies something as its meaning. So the meaning is the whole creation, which is nothing but names and forms. So Om is the Abhidhana for the Lord, and Om is the Abhideya. Abhideya means it is the names and forms which are in manifestation in the form of creation. Therefore, Lord becomes the cause, is the creator, and the creation is also Om, the creator is also Om. So the name of the Lord is also Om, and the manifestation of the Lord in the form of this creation, and that too in the form of names, forms and function, are in no way different from the Lord, who is the maker cause, and there is the material cause, which is God's knowledge and manifestation. So you are accounting the Abhidhana, the Lord's name, and the Lord's name implies, Om implies Om implies the Lord's name, and also what is being implied is the whole creation. So that's how you have to understand. It's only a phonetical explanation, and the next class we will be giving the other two explanations of Om. Then we will get into the meaning of this Gayatri Mantra. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.